The key slid into the door and I pushed it open quietly. "Emily," called, stepping inside. "I'm home early." Silence. Then muffled voices from upstairs. I smiled to myself. She's probably on the phone. Climbed the stairs, suitcase in hand, ready to surprise her. Halfway up I heard it. Her laugh soft, almost breathless, and a man's voice. I froze. "Ryan," she whispered. My grip tightened on the railing. No, not him. I took the last step slowly, my heart pounding.
Aldo.
The bedroom door was cracked open just enough for me to see. Emily's back was arched, Ryan's hands gripping her. Sheets twisted around them. My stomach lurched. "God, Em." Ryan groaned. "Tastes better than shut up," she laughed. "He'll be home tomorrow." I stepped back, forcing air into my lungs. Tomorrow had just arrived. I didn't burst in. I didn't scream. I walked down the stairs, each step heavier than the last. From behind me, Ryan's voice floated faintly. "You think he suspects?" Emily chuckled. "Ethan, please, you trust us more than anyone." I reached the front door and opened it. The driveway air was cold against my face. I stood there, keys in hand, staring at the street trust. "That's what he took from me." My phone buzzed. Text from Emily. "Hey, love, how's the trip?" I laughed under my breath. I typed back, "Good. Might get home later than planned." That night, sat in my car a block away, just breathing. Rage burned in my chest, but another feeling slid in, colder, sharper. Patience. I dialed Emily. She answered sweetly. "Hey, still at the airport?" "Yeah, I lied. I just wanted to hear your voice." "Oh, I miss you, too," I said. "You and Ryan do anything fun while I was gone?" She paused. "I just work and Netflix, you know." I smiled in the dark. "Yeah, I know." The next morning, I walked through the front door at 8 a.m. She was in the kitchen making coffee. "Hair perfectly done." "Surprise," I said. Her eyes widened. "We're back early." She kissed my cheek. "You should have told me. Wanted to see your reaction," I replied, setting down my suitcase. Ryan came downstairs a minute later, grinning. "Ethan, you're back, man." I looked at him and smiled like nothing had happened. "Yeah, early flight. How's business?" He shrugged. "Busy? Could use a vacation?" Emily laughed. "You too, and your work talk." We sat at the table. My coffee tasted bitter, but I kept my face calm. "So," I said, "what did you do while I was gone?" "Nothing exciting," Ryan said quickly. Emily added, "Yeah, just the usual." I nodded slowly. "Good. I like it when things stay predictable." Later, as Emily showered, Ryan leaned against the hallway wall. "You seem off," he said. "Do?" I met his eyes. "Yeah, you're usually more I-to-know stressed when you get back from trips." I smiled faintly. "Guess I'm learning to manage stress better." He smirked. "Good for you." That evening, I suggested we all have dinner. Together, over steak and wine, Emily laughed at Ryan's stories. I listened, studying every expression, every glance between them. So I asked, "What's your plan for the next few months, Ryan?"
At work, I mean?
He shrugged, thinking of stepping up, taking on more responsibility. "That's great," I said evenly. "You've got ambition. I respect that." As Emily raised her glass. "To family." I lifted mine, to loyalty. They clinked glasses, unaware of the weight in my words. That night, lying in bed beside Emily, she curled into me. "I'm glad you're home," she murmured. "Me too. You seem different, do I?" She nodded, more calm.
"That!"
Her hair from her face. Maybe I finally learned something. "What's that?" "That the best way to deal with problems is to take your time." She smiled sleepily. "Sounds wise." I stared at the ceiling long after she fell asleep, the shape of my revenge taking form in the dark. I won't destroy you with rage, I thought. I'll destroy you with patience. And that's when it began. "Morning, Ethan," Emily said, as she set a plate in front of me. "Morning," I replied, forcing a smile. "Smells great." Ryan strolled in, stretching, coffee ready. Emily handed him a cup. "Here, before you start complaining." He grinned at me. "Big meeting today?" It, I said evenly. Board wants updates on the next quarter. Good luck, he said. Not that you need it. I smiled back. Thanks, bro. Inside, my teeth ached from clean. At the office, I slid into my chair, booting up my laptop. Claire knocked lightly and stepped in. You're early? I said. Needed to prep the reports. Thought you'd want them on your desk before the meeting. Efficient as always, I said, taking the folder. She lingered. You okay? You've been quieter? I looked up. Just tired. She raised an eyebrow. Tired or stressed? Both. You want to talk? I shook my head. Not yet. She nodded slowly. All right. But if something's wrong, I'd rather hear it from you than from gossip. I gave her a faint smile. Duly noted. After the meeting, I closed my office door and pulled out my phone. Step 1. Collect proof. I scrolled through Emily's Instagram. Harmless photos, all smiles. But I noticed one. The reflection in her sunglasses showed Ryan's hand on her leg. Screenshot next. I logged into the company's call log system. Ryan's phone. Repeated calls to Emily. Late nights, lasting hours. Downloaded that evening at dinner. Emily asked, "How was the meeting?" "Good," I said, cutting into my steak. "We're on track." "Bet the board loves you." "Bet the board loves you. They love results," I said. Emily reached over, touching my hand. "I'm proud of you. Thanks." Them both. You two have fun today? Ryan shook his head. Didn't see much of each other. Emily nodded. Busy day. I smiled. Good, busy is productive. The next morning, Claire intercepted me in the hallway. You're coming. In earlier every day, she said, gives me time to think. She tilted her head, thinking about what? Future plans. She crossed her arms. You're being cagey, which usually means something's about to happen. I chuckled. You know me too well. That's my job, she said lightly. Later, I called her into my office. I need you to help me track certain company emails, I said. She blinked. Specific ones. Yes, Ryan's. Her brow furrowed. May I ask why? Just monitoring project communications. She studied me for a second. All right, but I'll keep this between us. That's why I trust you, I said. That night I came home to laughter from the living room. Emily and Ryan were watching TV, legs too close. Hey, I said, setting my briefcase down. Hey, babe. Emily smiled. Want to join? Maybe later. Need to review some files. Ryan glanced over. Workaholic. I smirked. Consistency is key. I walked upstairs, opened my safe, and placed the printed screenshots and call logs inside. The folder was getting thicker. The next day, Claire entered with a USB stick. What's this? I asked. Everything you asked for. You'll want to. Look at the timestamps. I plugged it in. Several emails, personal, not business, between Ryan and Emily, buried in the server. Short, teasing lines. Miss you already. Can't stop thinking about last night. Good work, I said. She hesitated. Ethan, is this what I think it is? I closed the laptop. It's exactly what you think it is. Her eyes softened. I'm sorry. Don't be. Just keep helping me. She nodded. Always. That evening, Emily kissed my cheek as I came in. You're late. Had extra work, I said. Ryan grinned. Nothing new there. True, I said, setting my bag down. But I'm thinking of making some changes. Emily tilted her head. What kind of changes? Long-term ones. For the company, for us. She smiled. That sounds exciting. Ryan raised an eyebrow. Hope it's nothing too drastic. Sometimes, I said, drastic is necessary. In bed that night, Emily asked, You've been smiling more lately? Did something good happen? I looked at her. Yes. What? I realized I don't need to rush anything. Time has a way of showing people exactly what they deserve. She frowned slightly. That sounds ominous. Kissed her forehead. Sleep. Big day tomorrow. She sighed and closed her eyes. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Hearing Ryan's laugh echo from earlier, my patience was paying off. The game had just begun. Everything ready? I asked Emily as I adjusted my tie. She smiled, fixing my collar. Yes. Guests should be here in 15 minutes. Ryan walked in, already holding a drink. You look sharp, big brother. Trying to keep up with. You, I said, forcing a grin. Emily laughed lightly. Stop fishing for compliments, both of you. The first guests arrived, handshakes, smiles, polite greetings. My chest felt tight, but my face stayed calm. Marcus Lee walked in, holding a small gift bag. Ethan, been too long. Marcus, I said warmly, shaking his hand. Glad you could make it. I wouldn't miss your dinner. Besides, I needed an excuse to leave the office. Emily appeared at my side. Marcus, it's been ages. Still practicing law? Corporate law never sleeps, he said with a chuckle. Dinner was served, wine poured. The table buzzed with conversation. Emily sat beside me, Ryan on her other side. I noticed her hand shift under the table, brushing his. My stomach twisted. I sipped my wine. Marcus leaned toward me. You've done well with the company. Thanks, I said, smiling. I've been thinking about some changes lately. Long-term strategy stuff. What kind of changes? He asked, lowering his voice. Family trust? Consolidating shares? Making sure the right hands hold the reins? His eyebrows lifted slightly. Interesting. You'll need airtight legal work for that. That's why I'm glad you're here, I said. We should talk more soon. Across the table. Ryan laughed loudly at something Emily whispered. Marcus glanced their way. Your brother seems close with your wife. I kept my tone light. We're a close family. Right, Marcus said slowly. After dessert, I moved to the bar, pouring myself a drink. Marcus joined me. You sure you want to restructure? It's not a small move, I'm sure, I said. I want the company protected. Family or not, business is business. He studied me. Sound like a man planning something. Maybe I am, I said, handing him his glass. Emily walked over, placing a hand on my arm. Everything okay? Perfect, I said. Catching up with Marcus about some company ideas? Ryan appeared behind her. Company talk at a party? You two never stop? Some things can't wait, I said with a smile. Later, as the guests filtered out, Emily kissed my cheek. You were charming tonight. That's my job, I said. Ryan smirked. If this is how you host, we should do it more often, maybe. We will, I replied. Marcus shook my hand at the door. Call me tomorrow. We'll start drafting options. Thanks for coming, I said. When the door closed, Emily turned to me. So what's this about trusts and shares? I shrugged. Just future-proofing. She frowned slightly. You've never mentioned it before? Things change, I said. And I like being prepared. In the kitchen, Ryan poured himself another drink. You're not planning to cut me out, are you? I smiled faintly. Why would you think that? Because I know how you think, he said. I met his eyes. Then you know I always act in the company's best interest. He held my gaze for a moment, then laughed. Right. Best interest. Emily touched his arm. Stop teasing him. Ain't. Glanced at her hand. Yes. Stop teasing me. Upstairs, as I loosened my tie, Emily said, You were different tonight. More confident? Is that bad? I asked. No, she said slowly. Just noticeable. Maybe I'm just tired of playing defense, I said. She tilted her head. What does that mean? I smiled faintly. It means I like having a plan. I lay in bed that night, the sound of their quiet laughter from downstairs still ringing. In my ears, Marcus was on board. The mask was holding. They had no idea what was coming. Going somewhere this weekend? I asked, leaning in the office doorway. Emily smiled without looking up from her phone. Spa retreat with friends. Ryan walked past, carrying a folder. Funny, I'm going fishing with some buddies. Separate trips. I asked casually. Not that it's any of your business, Ryan said with a smirk. Emily laughed softly. Don't be so defensive. At Monday's board meeting, Ryan leaned back in his chair. Ethan, I think we should take a more aggressive approach on the East Coast expansion. I kept my tone mild. Interesting, what would that look like? Cutting the safety net. Bigger risks, faster rewards, he said, glancing at a few investors. James Carter, one of our largest stakeholders. Raised an eyebrow. Sounds bold. It's the future, Ryan said confidently. I nodded slowly. Then I'll leave it in your capable hands. Ryan grinned, thinking it was a win. Glad you trust me. 2 weeks later, his first deal collapsed. Weren't happy. James cornered me in the hallway. You gave Ryan too much leash. I believe in letting talent prove itself, I said with a shrug. Or hang itself, James muttered. I smiled faintly. Sometimes both happen. That Friday, Ryan stormed into my office. Why didn't you back me in that meeting? I did, I said. I gave you full control. You knew it would fail. You're the one who pitched it, I reminded him. He glared. I won't forget this. Neither will I said quietly. Emily's spending started climbing designer. Clothes, luxury dinners, mysterious business expenses. Claire walked into my office holding a spreadsheet. You asked me to track withdrawals. She's up to 25 grand this month. I looked over the numbers. Freeze anything over 5,000 without telling her. She hesitated. She's going to notice. Good, I said. Her wonder why, Claire gave me a small smile. You're playing a long game. I always do, I replied. Later, at a networking event, James approached me with a drink. Ryan's been trying to win me over, he said. How's that? Working out? I asked. He talks big but doesn't listen, James said. Investors don't like arrogance. Right. Noted, I said. We may have a restructuring soon, James smirked. If you're the one leading it, I'm in. It's good to know, I said, filing the information away. The following Monday, Ryan barged into my office again. Need to move faster. The market's changing. Then move faster, I said without looking up from my laptop. I can't if you keep holding the purse strings. I closed the laptop slowly. Are you saying you want full control of finances? I'm saying I should be in charge. Period. I leaned back. Then prove you can handle what you've already got. He slammed the door on his way out. At lunch, Emily called me. The card declined at the boutique today. Strange, I said lightly. Must be a bank error. Can you fix it? I'll look into it, I said, knowing I wouldn't. That evening, Claire came into my office with a folder. Private holding company is ready. Everything's in your name only. Good, I said. Keep it off the books. No one needs to know until it's too late. You mean Emily and Ryan, she said. I gave a thin smile, especially them. A week later, Ryan pitched another expansion plant, this time in front of the full board. This strategy guarantees a 30% profit increase, he declared. James raised a hand. And if it fails, it won't, Ryan said confidently. I sat back. Then let's vote. The motion passed. I knew exactly how it would end. 3 weeks later, it failed even harder than the first. James called me the next morning. Investors are ready to pull their support from Ryan. They want stability. Then I'll give it to them, I said. Emily confronted me at home. Why didn't you warn Ryan? His deal was risky. Would he have listened? That's not the point, she snapped. It's exactly the point, I said. She folded her arms. You're enjoying this, aren't you? I smiled faintly. Not yet. Later that night, I overheard her on the phone in the kitchen. He's acting. Strange, she whispered. I think he's planning something. I walked in, pretending not to hear. Tea, she jumped. Huh, please. I poured her a cup. Careful, it's hot. Her eyes searched mine. You've changed. Maybe I've just stopped. Pretending, I said. By the end of the month, Ryan's reputation with investors was in ruins. Emily's access to money was shrinking. My holding company was secure. The cracks in their world were spreading fast, and I was the one widening them. Ryan strolled into my office like he owned the place. I've got a brilliant idea, he said, dropping a thick folder on my desk. I didn't look up right away. Does it involve another expansion? Better, he said. A partial merger. We shift one division under my management. I run it independently, prove I can deliver results without interference. I raised an eyebrow. And the benefit to me? You get less on your plate. I take the heat. Win-win. I flipped through the pages slowly. So you want me to sign over part of the company? Temporarily, he said quickly. Works. We both profit. If it doesn't, I take the blame. I leaned back. And you've thought this through? Completely, he said, smiling like the deal was already sealed. That night, Emily brought it up over dinner. Ryan told me about the merger. It's a good move. You think so? I asked, sipping my wine. He's ready to take over, she said. You've been stretched too thin. Let him handle things. I set down my glass. And what would? You do if I stepped back? She smiled. Support you, of course. Of course, I echoed. The next morning, I called Marcus. I need the contracts rewritten. Rewritten how? He asked. Make it so the new entity is owned entirely. By me, I said. Ryan still gets operational control on paper, but legally it's mine. Marcus let out a low whistle. You're setting a trap. I'm closing one, I corrected. Send me the drafts. I'll make the changes. 2 days later, Ryan burst into my office again. Got the documents ready. We can sign today. Have Marcus look over them first, I said. Ryan frowned. Why? Straightforward, because I don't sign anything without my lawyer's eyes on it. He rolled his eyes. Fine, just don't drag this out. At Marcus's office, he slid a revised contract toward me. Everything you wanted is in there. I'll never notice unless they read the fine print. They won't, I said. Marcus smirked. Then this is as good as done. Back at the company, I called Ryan and Emily into the conference room. Ryan grinned. Finally ready to make this official? I nodded. Let's sign. Emily leaned over the table. I'm proud of you too. It's the future. I handed them pens. After you. I inscribbled his signature without hesitation. History. In the making, Emily signed as a witness. This feels like a turning point. It is, I said quietly. After they left, Marcus called. All signatures confirmed. It's locked in you. Own everything in that division outright. I said that evening. Emily came into the study. Ryan's excited. Thinks this will prove he's ready to run the company. Does he? I asked. She nodded. He's always been in your shadow. Now he can finally shine. I smiled faintly. Yes, shine. 2 weeks later, Ryan came. To me, with his first big win, under the merger, this deal's going to double revenue for my division, he bragged. Then go for it, I said. He paused. You're not going to micromanage? Why would I? He laughed. I like this new you. I'm sure you do, I said, in private. Marcus and I met again. You've got him signing operational agreements left and right, Marcus said. Every one of them ties back to me, I confirmed. And Emily? She thinks I'm stepping. Aside, she's relaxed. Perfect cover. Marcus nodded. When do you pull the trigger? When he's too deep to back out. A week later, Emily walked into my office. Ryan says his division is growing faster than yours. Good for him, I said. She tilted her head. You're really okay with that? Of course, I lied. Ryan came in right after her. We need more funding. Expansion's moving faster than I thought. Draw from your accounts, I said. They're almost maxed. I'll need a transfer. Send me the request. I said. He smirked. See? You're still useful. Later, Marcus called. His request just hit. Once you approve it, it's all under your legal control. Prove it, I said. 3 days later, Ryan was in my office again, beaming.
Next.
Contract yet. Signed and sealed. Congratulations, I said. You don't even want to know the numbers. I'll see them in the reports. He laughed. You've really let go, huh? Completely, I said. Emily joined us in the hall. I told you, Ryan. He's finally letting you run things. Ryan wrapped an arm around her waist. About time. I smiled at both of them. Enjoy it while it lasts. They didn't notice the weight behind my words, but Marcus did when I called him that night. Everything's in place, I said. Then it's just a matter of timing, he replied. Yes, I said. And I'll choose the perfect moment. Trap wasn't just set, it was closing. Emily's voice cut through the kitchen. Who is she? I looked up from my coffee. Who is who? Don't play dumb, she snapped. You've been distracted. You're hiding something. Work, I said evenly. That's all. Her eyes narrowed. You think I don't notice? The late nights? The calls you won't take in front of me? Emily, I said, setting my mug down. If I were cheating, you'd know. Her lips tightened. Maybe I already do. Later that afternoon, Ryan stormed into my office. James Carter won't return my calls, he said. Talk to him. Tell him. I've got this under control. Why won't he call you back? I asked. He's getting spooked, Ryan admitted. Something about recent losses. It's just bad timing, or bad management, I said. His eyes flashed. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Enjoying nothing? I lied. Fix it. The tension spilled into a meeting the next day. Ryan, James said over speakerphone, your projections aren't matching reality. I can't risk more capital until I see results. Ryan glanced at me, jaw tight. You've had a few setbacks, but you've had failures, James. Interrupted. Big difference. Ryan slammed the folder shut. Fine, pull your funding. I kept my expression neutral. We'll regroup. After the call, Ryan shoved his chair back. He doesn't trust me anymore. You happy? I didn't tell him to stop trusting you, I said. You didn't have to, Ryan muttered, storming out that night. Emily confronted me again. You're too calm about all this, she said. Ryan stressed. The company's unstable, and you just smile. Would you rather I panic? I asked. She crossed her arms. I'd rather you act like you care. I do care, I said softly. Just not the way you think. 2 days later, Marcus called. How close are we? I asked. One board meeting away, I said. I want them both in the room when it happens. Marcus chuckled. You're cold, Ethan. I said. I'm patient. The fights between Emily and Ryan started spilling into public. At lunch, I overheard them near the elevator. You're supposed to be in control, Emily hissed. Instead, you're drowning. Ryan's voice was sharp. Maybe if you weren't on my back every second, maybe if you weren't losing investors. I walked past without looking. At them, good afternoon, I said lightly. Neither replied. That evening, Emily sat in the living room, head in her hands. Ryan's driving me crazy, she said. He's moody, distracted, paranoid. Sounds familiar, I said. She looked up, eyes wet. I don't know what to do anymore, I sat beside her. Do you love him? Her silence was answer enough. I thought I did, she whispered. But he's not who I thought. I placed a hand on her shoulder. Relationships change under pressure. She sniffed. And you? Are you happy with me? I'm here, aren't I? I said. She gave a shaky laugh. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have right now. The next day, Ryan came into my office without knocking. Need to talk about the board meeting, he said. Go ahead. Want to present alone, he said. Show them I can handle this without you. That's a bold move, I said. It's necessary. They need to see I'm capable. If they don't, then I'm screwed, he admitted. I leaned forward. I'll give you the room. But remember, once you're in front of them, it's all on you. That's the point, he said, almost defiantly. That night, Emily lingered at the doorway. To my study, I don't want to fight anymore, she said quietly. I don't either, I replied. She stepped inside. You've been kind lately, even when I've been awful. Everyone has bad days, I said. She hesitated. I feel like I can't trust anyone right now, not even myself. I met her eyes. Then trust me. She exhaled slowly. Stressing me out. He's snapping at me, ignoring me. I feel invisible. I tilted my head. That sounds painful.
It is,
she said, her voice breaking. I thought this merger would make things better. It's making everything worse. I reached for her hand. It'll be over soon. She looked at me like she wanted to believe it. You promise? Yes, I said, holding her gaze. I promise. When she left the room, I sat alone, staring at the signed contracts in my desk drawer. She would remember that promise, just not in the way she thought. Marcus's voice echoed in the conference room as he laid the final documents on the table. All parties present. I glanced at Emily and Ryan. Looks like it, I said. Ryan smirked. About time. I've been telling Emily this day would come. Emily smiled at me sweetly. You've been generous, Ethan. Letting Ryan step up. James Carter leaned back in his chair. Let's just say I'm curious to see how this plays out. Ryan grinned. It'll play out exactly how I planned. Marcus slid the first set of papers toward him. Initial here, here, and here. Scribbled his signature, flipping the pages like he couldn't sign fast enough. Finally, some control where it belongs, he muttered. Emily placed a hand on his arm. Don't rush. This is a big moment. Ryan winked at her. Relax, I've got it handled. James turned to me. You're comfortable with this? I smiled completely. Ryan scoffed. See? No tension here, just progress. Slid the second stack forward. Now these are for the operational restructuring. Emily leaned toward me. I still think you're going to miss running things day to day. Maybe, I said, signing my own lines without looking up, when the last set landed in front of me. Marcus's tone shifted just slightly. This one finalizes the asset. Allocation and ownership terms. Ryan took the pen. My favorite part, he signed, pushed it to Emily. She signed, eyes bright. I took the pen last. My name flowed across the page, steady and deliberate. Marcus cleared his throat. For clarity, as of this moment, 100% of the merged entity's shares are owned by Ethan Cole, effective immediately. The room froze. Ryan blinked. What? Emily's smile faltered. That's not right. James sat forward, intrigued. I'd like to hear more about that. Ryan turned on Marcus. This is supposed to be under my management. It is, Marcus said smoothly. Under your management, but under Ethan's ownership? Emily's voice rose. That's not what we agreed to. I leaned back. It's exactly what you agreed to. You signed it. Ryan's hands curled into fists. You tricked us. You're the one who brought me the idea, I said. I just improved it. Emily shook her head. No, you wouldn't do this to us. Us, I said quietly. Interesting choice of words. Her eyes darted to Ryan. We were building something together. I know, I said. I saw every step, every touch, every lie. Ryan's voice was sharp. This is about her? You're throwing away the company over? I'm not throwing away anything, I said. I'm reclaiming what's mine. James chuckled. This is entertaining. Ryan shot him a glare. You knew? I suspected, James said. And I have to say, Ethan, this was elegant. Emily's breathing quickened. We can fight this. Marcus shook his head. Everything here is airtight. Every clause signed, every page witnessed. It's done. Ryan slammed a hand on the table. I'll sue.
Oh.
On what grounds? Marcus asked calmly. Ryan hesitated, looking to Emily. She avoided his eyes. I stood. You thought I was blind? That I'd step aside and hand over my life? But I was watching every move, every word. And I let you think you were winning. Emily's voice cracked. Ethan, please, please, what? I said. Pretend it didn't happen? Go back to the way it was? That's impossible. Ryan's tone turned desperate. We can still make this work. No, I said flatly. You've made your choices. Now you can live with them. Emily's face was pale. You wanted revenge this whole time, yes, I said. And I told you it would be over soon. This is what I meant. Her lips trembled. I trusted you. You betrayed me, I said. The math is simple. Ryan muttered under his breath. Unbelievable. No, I corrected. Inevitable. James rose from his chair. Well, I'll be in touch, Ethan. We have some opportunities to discuss. Ryan pointed at him. Are you just going to walk away from this? James smiled thinly. Business is business. Emily turned to me, voice sharp. You'll regret this. I met her gaze. No, you will. Marcus gathered the signed papers into a neat stack. Congratulations, Ethan. It's officially yours. Again, I took them, tucking the folder under my arm. Thank you, Marcus. Ryan's voice was low, almost a growl. This isn't over, it is, I said. Just haven't realized it yet. Emily's chair scraped back as she stood abruptly. Come on, Ryan. He didn't move. I want to know, was any of this about the company, or was it all about destroying us? I leaned in. Both. They left without another word. Silence settled over the room. Heavy and satisfying. James was the last to speak before walking out. Ethan, remind me never to get on your bad side. I smiled. Good advice. When the door closed, I was alone. With the papers, their expressions were still fresh in my mind. Shock. Disbelief. Collapse. Exactly the way mine had been, and it felt like balance had finally been restored. The door slammed behind Ryan, his voice still echoing. I'll fight this, Ethan, you hear me? I didn't answer. Emily stayed seated across from me, her fingers trembling against the table. How her voice cracked. How could you do this? To family. I let out a short laugh. Not loud, just enough for her to hear the weight in it. Family, I repeated. That's what you're calling us now? Her eyes darted to the door Ryan had stormed through. You're my husband. Was, I said. She swallowed hard. You've known me for years. You know I'd never. I leaned forward. You want me to forget the day I came home early? Her lips pressed into a thin line. You misunderstood, I cut her off. I walked into my own bedroom, Emily. Her voice rose. You don't know the whole story? I know enough. Alyssa looked away, her gaze fixed on the polished table. It wasn't supposed to happen like that.
It wasn't.
Supposed to be caught like that? I said. Her jaw tightened. Now you think this is just about betrayal? But I was lonely, Ethan. I laughed again, colder this time. Lonely? You had me. You had everything. I had a man married to his work, she shot back. Ryan was my brother. Her voice wavered. It wasn't love. It was comfort. Okay, that makes it worse. As if trying to erase the moment. We could have fixed it. No. I said, calm but final. Some things can't be fixed. Her eyes glistened. You've been planning this for months, haven't you? Yes. Her breath hitched. So every smile, every dinner, every night under the same roof was a countdown, I said. She flinched. You're cruel. I leaned back. Cruel would have been throwing you both out the moment I found you together. This was patient. She stared at me like she didn't recognize the man across from her. I never thought you had it. In you, I smiled faintly. Neither did you. That's why it worked. She bit her lip. Ryan's not going to give up. I'm counting on him to try. That way he can lose twice. Her voice lowered. You've destroyed him. I tilted my head. And you? Her throat worked as she swallowed. I don't know who I am without all this. That's not my problem anymore. Silence settled between us, heavy and suffocating. Finally, she whispered, Do you still love me? I let the question hang in the air, just long enough for her to hope. No. Her hands curled into fists in her lap. But then why didn't you just leave me? 'Cause walking away would have meant you won. This way I do. Chin trembled. I regret it, Ethan. All of it. Good, I said. She blinked at me. That's it? Just good? That's all there is left to say. Her eyes searched mine, maybe looking for the man she used to know. But I wasn't him anymore. She exhaled shakily. What happens to me now? You figure it out, like I had to. I stood, gathering my papers. She didn't move. You're just going to walk away? She asked. Yes. Her voice dropped to almost nothing. Please, I paused at the door, but didn't look back. I already gave you more than you deserved. Walked out. Leaving her in silence, the last thing I saw before the door shut was her eyes full of something. I'd been waiting months to see regret. Ryan's finished, Claire said, setting a folder on my desk. Investors won't return his calls. James has already pulled his backing. I glanced at the folder but didn't open it. And Emily? You moved out last week. No forwarding. Address. I leaned back in my chair, watching the skyline through the glass. They're done with each other, aren't they? Claire hesitated. From what I've heard, yes. Lots of shouting. Accusations. A faint smile tugged at my lips. I'm not surprised. She studied me. So asterisk you won. I took back what was mine, I said. And now? She asked. Now? I let my eyes drift back to the city. I'm free. Claire walked closer. You don't sound happy, should I? You got exactly what you wanted? I exhaled slowly. Sometimes winning feels quieter than you expect. She tilted her head. Quieter? No victory parade, no applause, just silence. Maybe that's peace, she offered. Maybe. I looked at her, or maybe it's emptiness. She didn't answer. The phone on my desk buzzed. I ignored. You're not going to answer? Claire asked. No, whoever it is, it's not worth hearing from. After a moment, she asked, do you ever think about them? About how they ended up? I smirked. Every now and then? I imagine Ryan looking at his empty calendar. Emily wondering where the money went. That doesn't bother you? No. That was the point. Claire crossed her arms. So, what's next for you? I don't know yet. You're a planner, Ethan. You always know. I shrugged. Maybe this time I don't need a plan. Maybe I just live. She gave me a small smile that might be harder than taking them down. Maybe, I admitted. Silence settled again. Broken only by the hum of the city outside, Claire finally said, You didn't just take the company back, you know? I looked at her. What do you mean, you took your life back? Her words lingered in the air. I didn't respond right away. Maybe you're right, I said at last. I turned back to the window, watching the lights blink on in the high-rises. People moving forward. People starting over. For the first time in months, I realized I could be one of them. I set the pen down for a moment, staring at the blank page. Claire's voice drifted from the doorway. You're writing something? Just making sure I never forget? Forget what? She asked, stepping inside. The truth, I said. The day it all changed. She sat across from me. The day you found them. Yes, the day my wife slept with my brother. Her eyes softened. You've never actually said it out loud before. I didn't need to. I kept it here. I tapped my temple until it was time to use it. Claire studied me. Now you're putting it on paper? Because patience is the deadliest weapon, I said. I want to remember that. She leaned back. You think they thought they'd win? They were sure of it, I said. They thought I was weak. They thought my silence meant surrender. It didn't. I smiled faintly. It meant planning. Claire tilted her head. You never raised your voice? Not once. Didn't need to. That must have been hard. Every day. But rage burns fast. Patience, I paused. Kills slow. She was quiet for a moment. Do you think they ever saw it coming? It's not until it was too late. By then, the world had already handed me their downfall. She frowned slightly. You make it sound easy. It wasn't. But it was necessary. And now, she asked. Now I closed the book. Claire's eyes shifted to the page. You're going to keep that? Yes. One day when I'm tempted to act in anger, I'll read this. I'll remember how much sweeter it is to smile while they fall apart. She gave a small smile. So this is your final word on them? Yes, after. Today, they're just ghosts. Do you think they're thinking about you right now? I considered it, probably. Regret is a hard thing to live with. She stood, resting a hand on my desk. Then maybe you've already won more than you think. Maybe, I said. When she left, I picked the pen back up. The words came easily. Now they thought they won. They thought I was weak. But in the end, I didn't need to shout or fight or beg. I only had to wait. And when the moment came, I smiled and let the world finish what I started. I closed the notebook, slid it into the drawer, and locked it. For the first time since that day, I felt light.